name's Christine. This past year, Amazon provided me with the opportunity to go to Prague, explore the city, and explore the sets of their new show, Carnival Row. I'm going to Prague today. Juan is coming with me.
Yep.
He's laughing at me vlogging in public. We've got our Prague map. We're gonna be in Prague for 7 days. We're gonna be visiting the set of Orlando Bloom's new series, Carnival Row. And we're gonna be sharing 7 fun facts about it with you along the way. Juan, what do you know so far about Carnival Row?
I know that Orlando Bloom's in it, and I know that there's creatures and monsters, and it's filming in Prague.
Wow, you really need our 7 fun facts. Well, we've boarded, and we're middle of the middle.
We are very middle.
But we're on a plane to Prague.
We're on a plane to Prague.
We are on a plane.
Cabin crew, the boarding is not completed.
Whoa. We're in Prague! So fun fact number 1. What's the first thing we look for in a new TV show to reel us in? An awesome cast. And Carnival Row has a killer cast. We got Orlando Bloom, Cara Delevingne, and Jared Harris. I'm already on board. We're in Prague day 1. We arrived last night very jet lagged.
Yep.
Went to dinner. John was like hallucinating. He was literally just like staring at his potatoes like they were gonna come to life.
They might have.
The menu is all in Czech. And then they gave us a translated version of it, and it was translated just like a little too hard. Beef cheeks, beef tongue, pickled liver, duck shoulder.
Really good chicken though.
So we had the chicken. No stress. The restaurant. Han, do you want no stress?
Oh yeah.
I'd like no stress. We gotta hit that up. He's headless and armless, and is he a metaphor? Is he a metaphor? Hello, it's day 1 of Prague, and today I'm visiting all the locations where they shot Carnival Row. It's cold and it's snowing, and we're at an abandoned church. We've arrived at a location where they filmed Carnival Row. It's in the middle of the countryside, and it's all kind of run down and cool looking. Very Instagrammable, but not very livable in terms of being close to society. Jon Snow, is it you? It's really snowing. I just got snow in my eye. They're breaking down another set here. Guess what Prague is called in Prague?
What?
Prague! That's some epic architecture if I've ever seen it. Juan, how much do you like cats on like a scale of 1 to 10? 10. It's our second day in Prague! Woo. We're heading out to the Prague Castle! Hufflepuff Pride today! Look at that behind us. I didn't even see that.
Oh yeah. We're
Holy
too
crap.
distracted by
Yeah.
all this.
Oh my goodness, this church. It just keeps getting bigger, I feel like. Fun fact number 2, Carnival Row is an urban fantasy, so it's grounded in our reality in some ways. There are lots of humanoid creatures like fae and trolls living amongst humanity. For you TV lovers, I'd compare it to something like Game of Thrones or True Blood. And for you book readers, you know what I'm talking about. Wow. Juan. This is crazy. It's beautiful. It's so gorgeous. I believe King Charles IV is responsible for this fantastical church. He was like super Catholic and came to Prague and was like, churches! Now check that out! Is that where like the Pope sits when he's here for service, or is that like a big pool of holy water?
I think those function as elevators in a Dark Souls game.
Wow. So in Carnival Row, the globe is divided into a Western and Eastern hemisphere. Humanity has developed and evolved on a continent in the Western Hemisphere. But on the Eastern Hemisphere, there's two main continents. One of Fae, where all different Fae nations reside, and another where all different other creatures reside. The areas in the Eastern Hemisphere are rich in wealth in all different ways, and so over the past however many years, the men who have explored that area have worked their best to pit the Fae nations against each other, kind of distract them, take advantage of the Fae, and take their resources. Hey, this is where you do confession.
This is where Daredevil goes.
I had to do confession growing up for like reconciliation ceremony, but we never had the booths. And I feel like the booths are more private, you know?
Yeah,
So, like,
I confess I never did this.
You know what's insane to think about? People have been coming to this church since like the 1400s.
That's pretty crazy.
Yeah. Can you play those, Juan?
What?
Can you play that? Can you play that funky music on those organs?
Probably not.
Damn, Angel, you violent. License books. It's the library. Books. Giant books. There's giant books out there. Juan, what do you think of giant books? Whoa. Do you think the guy who painted this got carpal tunnel from holding their hand above their head for so long? Like, we get it from typing above our heads on our phones. You should be a tour guide, Juan. Where are we at?
Basilica.
Big church.
Big church.
This guy looks suspicious. What are you doing? Honestly, it's so weird. We got paintings like this where she's like, yes, feed the birds and the children. And then we've got that guy stealing a castle? Is that a salt and pepper shaker made to look like a castle? Is it a dollhouse? Is the halo mean he's like bad because it's red and not gold? I wish I could read this inscription. Look at those creepy baby heads. Laughing together. They kind of look like the girls from the Little Rascals movie. That one's looking at me. These come to life at night. They have to. And after that, it was onward to even more really famous areas of Prague around the city where they shot badass scenes for Carnival Row. So we're here at Charles Bridge where they filmed a scene underneath the bridge, and while they were shooting the scene there were so many swans around they actually had to hire multiple animal wranglers to keep that under control. I don't know if you've ever gotten on a swan's bad side, but they attack you. My mom's been attacked by a swan. It's not fun. So I'm sure that was an interesting day on set. I don't see any swans today, so that's nice. We're just now walking into a graveyard where they were really lucky to be able to shoot an expansive scene for this show. This graveyard is really reminding me of Crooked Kingdom. If you read Crooked Kingdom, you know what I'm talking about. They could totally shoot that here. It's huge. So they actually chose to film in Prague because the city has such a Victorian look still, and the show is set in a neo-Victorian era, so it works very, very well. Case in point, there is a water wheel in the river over there. Are you ready to go first? Okay.
Ladies first.
So we're in the old sewage tunnels from the 1900s, and this is where they filmed a really cool chase scene in Carnival Row. It's super creepy. It's cold under here, so I hope they were like bundled up when they were filming. Do you think they go swimming in the show? Do you think Orlando was in there? We haven't seen the show yet, so there's a chance that Orlando was here or here. Or here. Whoa, the echo is crazy. Look at this, look at this. Do you think that Orlando Bloom stepped in this rainwater? Because he could have. I don't really want to do it though. Spider? Rycroft? That's Orlando's name in the show. We just saw the Prague Library and it was breathtaking and magical, and you're not allowed to even go in the room because the breathing will disrupt the books. What did you think of the library?
It was so cool. It looked like the London Institute.
Yeah.
It was incredible.
The library has a view! Holy shit. This is the best view so far. Probably wasn't that great living here in the 1700s, but they had this library. Look at it. Look at it. Have you ever been to a library with this kind of a view?
No.
This is such a superior library.
This is incredible.
I can't get over it. First, the actual library that you couldn't see, and then this. What you drinking?
Hot wine.
Some hot wine. Juan had his first hot wine earlier today.
It's good.
It smells like heaven.
Warming me up because it's so cold.
We're crossing the Charles Bridge in the night. It's nice.
It's nice. There's a lot of statues.
We're about to embark on Prague Day 3. How you doing, Juan?
Good.
Good. Let's do this. We just did a baby photo shoot with the Lenin wall.
Yeah.
It's really gorgeous, but the one area we were using, try to take bookstagrams so they get a bit better. Turns out I have like a big penis right near the side. I mean, like, it's not noticeable to like at first.
No.
But then it is.
Then it is once you see it.
After our walk to the Lenin Wall that morning, we were off to the actual Carnival Row set in Prague. And our first stop there was the Apothecary. I'm here on the set of the Apothecary for Carnival Row. This is where the creatures come to get potions and herbs when they need them for various issues. Let's take a look at everything we've got on the wall here. We've got your classic creepy baby in a jar. What looks like a dinosaur, like shrunk. You know, from The Land Before Time? That's what that looks like. Squid tentacles up there. We have the lungs of, they look like grapes, kind of. We have this. I mean, maybe it's someone's tongue, like pulled out of their mouth, floating in water. I don't know what the water does. Like, it preserves it, or just it gives it an aesthetic. That's what we're going for here. An alien. Here we have something else that looks like a body part ripped out. They really like their body parts to be floating in jars on display. That's just what they look for in medicine. And my favorite part, the books. That's what we're here for, folks. Knowledge. I don't know if I'd come to this apothecary. Like, it's not what I'm looking for when I need to go to the doctor. But again, you know, everyone has their specific wants and needs, and this is what they want and need. This has been a tour of the Apothecary. I hope you enjoyed it. After the Apothecary, we got to check out the actual Carnival Row, and it was snowing like all hell, and it was freezing, but dude, it was amazing. I got to run around with my camera on Carnival Row. I'm here on the set of Carnival Row, which is like the main set of the show Carnival Row. It's where all the creatures live. Let's go take a closer look. So this is like a butcher shop or something on the set of Carnival Row. And I have fun fact number 5 for you here. The Burge. The Burge is where the show takes place. It's a city, a central hub for the republic that the humans live in. It's divided, like a lot of cities, into the north and the south. The north is where the aristocrats live, and the south is the grittier area where Carnival Row is, which is basically a hub for sex and mystery and scandal. There's fairy brothels. It's a cool place. It's the happening place in the Burge. Oh my god, this is just like a deer. Oh my gosh, look in there. Like, there's so much detail. It's so beautiful. Everything looks so neo-Victorian. Which makes sense because that's what the show takes place in the neo-Victorian time period, if you didn't hear me say that already. This is where I would go to apparently eat husked fish and have a drink with my cronies in Carnival Row. This is where I would go to stand in front of a really cool door. Ooh, look over there. This is where I would go to get all my blacksmith needs done in Carnival Row. Or unless it's a gardening place. This is where I would go if I took a trip to Carnival Row. It was like, where do I stay? Tedderby Hotel, fine wine, and high-class cuisine. I like high-class cuisine and I like fine wines. This is the buggy I take when I go to Carnival Row too. I usually like to drive, so this is where I sit. Here's where I go for my beer, wine, rum, gin, brandy, cider, whiskey. This is the laundry car that I would send my laundry to, and this is where I get my boots fixed. Ooh, this is where I go to direct funerals on Carnival Row. Wow, a lot of people must die here to have. Yeah, you know what? This is a scandalous place. It makes sense that we have a funeral directory right here on our street. Fun fact number 6, I'm gonna go through the creatures we're gonna see in the row. First we got the fairies, and they look young, but you can tell how old they are by their wings. The brittleness of them, there's like a fraying to their wings as they get older, which I think is super cool because I've never read about fairies that age that way. Then we got the fawn who are humanoid, but they have these really cool goat-like horns and hooves. Then we've got the trow, which are these tall troll-like creatures. There are centaurs, who of course look like centaurs, and they have a mane. And lastly, we have the kobolds, who are these 9-inch Dobby-like creatures with insect eyes who like to cause mischief. This is where I go for aesthetic, creepy alleyway pictures for my Instagram that doesn't exist because this takes place in a neo-Victorian time period. Whoa. This is a gorgeous set. I am so excited to watch this show. It's the last day of Prague! So I lost Prague. I'm talking to the show writer today. It's been an eventful trip.
It has.
It's been eventful.
Very eventful.
Let's go do our last day. Woo! Woo! I'm on the set of Carnival Row with executive producer and writer Travis Beecham. Hello.
Hello. Hey.
So what inspired the story of Carnival Row?
It was inspired by a lot of different things. I wrote it in film school about 15 years ago. It was kind of this cyclone of influences that came together in my head. Like I'd just gotten back from a trip to England where I went on a Jack the Ripper tour. And I was reading books about like Celtic mythology and fairies, and you know, it was film school, so we were watching film noir, and it all kind of just sort of swirled together. It just became this sandbox that I wanted to play in.
Who or what is your favorite creature?
That's a tough one. I am sort of attached to the centaurs.
Did you always picture it being shot in Prague?
I didn't always picture it being shot in Prague, although Prague has always been a city that I really wanted to visit. You know, obviously, like every, you know, college student, you know,
yes.
has the pretentious, like, I want to go to Prague phase. I'd never pictured it being shot in Prague, but I can't think of anywhere more appropriate now that we are shooting in Prague.
Can you talk about your favorite scene in the whole show?
I'll keep it to the first episode. We're standing in the rooftops, so it's appropriate. The first episode ends with this sort of harrowing rooftop chase scene. I always kind of pictured as sort of a Victorian version of the like end of Blade Runner a little bit.
Oh, nice.
Yeah.
Did you ever think about writing Carnival Row as a book? Because I feel like the mythology is so deep and rich.
I did. When I first wrote it as a feature script, it went through a procession of directors who were interested in it, and it sort of languished in development hell for a little bit. I was always really into the world, and so there was a moment when nothing was really happening with it, and I always went back to it, and when I wanted to cut my teeth on new writing, like I would write little short stories that took place in the world, going through the whole history of the city. So you'd have one story that took place in the city's founding, and then another story that took place way later, and then characters from one story would have streets named after them in other stories.
Cool.
And I would still love to do something like that.
Yeah.
That really like explores the world and expands the world.
Were there any books that you read growing up that maybe inspired any of your creatures?
Around the time when I was first writing it, I was working in the school library and shelving books.
Oh, cool.
People brought books back, and you go and you return them to the shelves that they belong on. You end up going to parts of the library that you would never think to go to. And I would always like pull books that looked interesting when I saw them and put them on the card and check them out for later. There's a lot of like 1930s, 20s photography books. Brian Froud did this like fairies book that has all the fairies and Celtic mythology in it. Ultimately, I think I wanted to write a Jack the Ripper story, but I didn't want to be bound to history.
Can you, for the new viewers, explain the show in 30 seconds?
Wow. Take the world that you've always seen. It's Middle Earth, it's Lord of the Rings. We take that world, take that medieval world, fast forward it past an industrial revolution. So now you're living in the city, and now it's all these creatures, and they're living together in this like modern sort of city environment. It explores the characters in that environment, the creatures, the humans, the racial and social tensions, and kind of fills out this fantasy world in a kind of backdrop that we've never seen before.
Nice. I think that was really good for 30 seconds.
Thank you.
Thank
Thanks.
you. We're in the monastery and we're exploring the different paintings. Here we have a very burly man with the face of a child. He's so quirky. In the 9th century, they used to bedazzle their bottles. Look at this. Why are you so sad? Because no one can read these books anymore. Here at the monastery, you can get St. Norbert's antidepressant Autumn Dark Ale. What have you got there, Juan?
I got sausage.
A genuine Prague sausage.
Very good, and apparently too spicy.
It's a little spicy for me, and it's a little like giant.
Oh, lovely.
Little Sebastian. Aww. Got ourselves some turtleneck.
Got some?
It's really good. The ice cream is like less sweet because the thing. I don't know how to explain it. Look at this pretty notebook. Is it a notebook?
You should get it.
Of the clock tower. How did we discover that this was a thing?
I looked back behind me and saw a small person walking inside a tiny window. And I was like, hey, there's people up there.
It's a cool way to end the trip. Contract number 7, Carnival Row, is going to be on Amazon Prime. It's going to have 8 hour-long episodes. It's going to be full of murder and mystery and scandal, and I am so excited. Thank you guys so. Our time is up. Whoa. Future elevator, if I've ever seen one. We're about to head out to the airport. Carnival Row is going to be 8 one-hour episodes coming to Amazon Prime full of murder and mystery and sex and scandal. I am so excited. Thank you so much for watching. I'm Christine. I make videos every Tuesday and I will see you next time. Goodbye!